What's going on, guys? Asian Guy here, bringing you a video discussing patch 1.2 and Albedo's abilities. Now they have been officially revealed on the official miHoYo/Genshin Impact website. Now, as you guys can see, I have a launcher issue right now. If you guys are also having the same issues to get into Genshin Impact, you need to open Genshin Impact, the game itself, rather than going through the launcher. And the way to do that is you need to locate your Genshin Impact file, then you need to go into Genshin Impact game, and there you should just have Genshin Impact. If we take a look at the properties, Genshin Impact application.exe, and you want to open this one by itself, and then this will launch the game. If I double click this here, it should open the game up for me absolutely okay. So basically the launcher is dead right now. If you're in EU, I think this is an EU related problem, maybe just in the United Kingdom, maybe in Germany, but if you are having this launcher issue, that's all you got to do and everything should be a-okay. Okay, we have got the very, very pretty Albedo. So Albedo, the Collider Prince, is going to be the chief alchemist of the Favonius Knights, who is going to be voiced, if you're playing the Japanese version, by Nojima Kenji. Nojima Kenji recently starring in Haikyuu as Kita Shinsuke, if you have been following the anime. Shout out to my fellow Haikyuu weaves, and also in Banana Fish as one of the main protagonists in the form of AG as well. Great anime that, you guys should check that one out too. Right, what does he do? So his elemental skill will create a solar isotoma using alchemy, dealing AoE geo damage at specific intervals, so it's going to be like Zhongli's ticking damage. Hits on enemies within the solar isotoma field will cause the solar isotoma to generate transient blossoms, which deal AoE geo damage to the enemy based on Albedo's defense. Only one solar isotoma can exist at any given time, and the solar isotoma is considered a geo construct. So as you can see here, when he unleashes the elemental skill, it does a relatively large AoE damage, and then when you strike the enemy, every single tick, so I'm assuming maybe like every 1.5, every 2 seconds you hit an enemy, Albedo's defense will scale off this damage. So you see that bonus geo damage, that's scaling off Albedo's defense. So that's going to be very, very interesting. I said it the wrong way around, but this damage will scale off Albedo's defense. So he's going to be a support character, guys. So don't get your hopes up for a DPS Albedo. Maybe Constellation 6 Albedo can be DPS, but this is really looking like a support character. Right, moving on, we have got the elevator boy. So when you go to the very center of this flower or isotoma, it's going to elevate you into the sky, and this is where he's called elevator boy. And this is where you get to have discount Shao, guys. You need to do your plunge attacks off this, and plunge attacks, for those of you who don't know, have the highest multiplier out of any of your normal attack combinations. So you've got your normal attack, you've got your charge attack, and then you've got plunge attack. Plunge attack always has the highest multiplier, so this is what he's there for. Although you can make the argument that, you know, just standing on here and waiting to do the plunge attack is making you lose out on DPS. Although I think the plunge attack multiplier is so high that it's still going to be better to stand on this and jump down, because the AoE of plunge attack is also very, very big as well. So abiogenesis solar isotoma, when a character stands at the locus of the solar isotoma, it will gather the power of Geo to form a crystallized platform that lifts the character up to a certain height. Only one platform can exist at a certain time. So this is also very good for traversing terrain that you can't get over. If you want to elevate yourself a little bit higher, and then you want to use like a Venti elemental skill to get to higher places, you know, this is a combination that you can use, although I do think it's a little bit tedious and a bit extra to do so. Talents, right, this is going to be Albedo's ultimate. So Albedo's ultimate, Rite of Progeniture, Tectonic Tide, crystallized geo energy bursts forth at Albedo's command, dealing AoE geo damage in front of Albedo. If a solar isotoma created by Albedo himself is on the field, 7 fatal blossoms will be generated in the solar isotoma field, bursting violently into bloom and dealing AoE geo damage. Tectonic Tide damage and fatal blossom damage will not generate transient blossoms. Now I believe the bonus damage coming through here, the 7 fatal blossoms, will scale off Albedo's defense. Don't quote me on that, but I do think that is going to be the case. So as you guys can see here, at the beginning, there's 4,654 damage in the top left of this circle you see here, boom, which is then followed by a bunch of 912 damage. Now the 912 damage I believe will be scaling off defense, and this 1652 damage here is miHoYo being a bit sus because he's just using his elemental skill here. So I don't know why they've included the elemental skill at the end here. It's a little bit sus, miHoYo. At first when I watched this I was like, there's 3 phases of damage, but no, it's only 2 phases of damage. The initial burst followed by the damage that comes up, the ripple effect after that. So that's going to be pretty nice as well. But I still do think, guys, Albedo is going to be a support DPS, if not just a full-on support as well, because this elemental skill is going to last on the field for a very long time, and when you switch off the character and you continue to attack with them and deal damage to enemies within the radius, you can see the radius is actually really, really big. If you hit enemies in there, I believe this thing will stay on the field and you can switch to anybody else to attack with as well. And the geo damage means you can get crystallized reactions, which will give you loads of shields as well if the enemies are already inflicted with another element. So this is a really easy way to get more shields too. So I think this is going to be quite interesting. I know a lot of people don't like shields, but for me personally, I really like shields because it allows me to be a lot more aggressive. Overall, Albedo, I will be summoning for him voice crack. There's a bit of his story here. I will leave the link in the description if you would like to read this yourself. But Albedo, I will be summoning for him, so hold on to your horses if you're not sure you want Albedo or not, because I will try and release a review, a brief review, and my first initial thoughts ASAP after I summon him, and you'll know whether or not he's a good or bad one. Although those will only be the initial thoughts. Right, let's move on into patch 1.2 event. Version 1.2, the Chalk Prince and the Dragon, new gameplay and features. I'm not going to read this word for word, guys. I'm going to give you a brief summary of what to expect from this event. So new area, Dragonspine, we are going to be getting a domain, which is going to be a very interesting one with new mechanics in there, which will allow you to, basically, you need to stand in specific locations in the domain so that you don't die from sheer cold. Sheer cold being a new debuff introduced with patch 1.2. So this domain is going to be the domain where you get the cryo DPS set for your cryo characters or the hydro DPS set for your hydro characters, of course. So Tartaglia, Mona, really looking forward to the set. Chongyun, really looking forward to the set, and I believe this set is going to be the set you want to run on Ayaka when she comes out as well. So very, very exciting stuff. Unfortunately, this quest is locked behind, or rather this domain is locked behind a quest, so you need to finish that one first before you can unlock the domain. Right, Sub-Zero climate details. In this area, Dragonspine, we will now have a debuff called Sheer Cold. Now, as you can see, the bar, the blue bar that is slowly escalating or accumulating over the HP bar, when that hits full, you will start ticking away. Your HP will start ticking away and depleting at a set rate, and it's going to be very, very annoying. So you got to make sure that this blue bar does not hit maximum. Swimming and being in a snowstorm is going to make it even faster for this blue bar to fill up to maximum. Also in this area, Dragonspine, are these little pulsating crystal rock things. When you fight your opponents, make sure to shatter these with your physical damage or any attacks. Just break them before you take on the opponents, otherwise the opponents are going to be very difficult to take down. Right, you are gonna want a pyro character, guys. We all knew it was coming. Pyro characters are gonna be the name of the game. Remember when everyone was making fun of Amber at the beginning, guys? Well, Amber, the only thing she was really, really stellar at, guys, was for puzzles and lighting things up. And this might be the case once again in Dragonspine. You want to go to torches or braziers, or you want to go to any of these locations where there is a source of heat, and this will stop sheer cold from accumulating as well. You will also have special food that you can make, although I don't really recommend going for the special food. You need to be farming out loach pearls, and loach pearls are kind of tedious to get right now. You can get them around Wangshu Inn's marshes, so the bridge area and also like the watery areas as well. You have to catch these little lizards that run around, and I really don't recommend going out of your way to do it. There are also special gadgets called the warming bottle that you can use, but again, this one you need to get to level 4 on the equivalent of the statue of 7, which I will break down in a moment. And this one is also a bit of a not that convenient. Scarlet Quartz. Now, Scarlet Quartz is going to be like, so if you have already explored Liyue, in Liyue there are these like geo rocks, and if you break them, the little star comes out and it follows you around like in a circle, and it kind of imbues you with an aura. Scarlet Quartz is exactly the same thing, except it's going to stop you from sheer cold, and that's going to be very, very nice. Only when it is surrounding you, as you can see in the GIF there, the Scarlet Quartz is basically hovering around the main traveler, and it will follow you around and prevent sheer cold from accumulating. And what you need to do with the Scarlet Quartz is find peculiar ice, so the equivalent of those Liyue geo rocks that you had to break, and then you take the star and you go to a little temple and you give the star to a little temple. This is basically the exact same mechanic for Scarlet Quartz, and you can't break this peculiar ice unless you have the Scarlet Quartz. So it's exactly the same thing in that regard. Pyro and normal weapons cannot melt it. Right, new feature, Frost Bearing Tree. This is going to be the exact same system as the statue of 7, you need to find the equivalent of Anemoculus or Geoculus. You are not going to get stamina from this or bonus stamina, but instead we are, every time we level up this tree or equivalent of statue of 7, we are going to be getting rewards, and the rewards are pretty good. So this is what the Geoculus Anemoculus equivalent looks like. It's going to be called Crimson Agate. All right, let's take a look at the rewards here. Take a look, guys. Soak it in. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see. Okay, maybe I zoomed in a bit too much there. Right. They're quite nice. Let's be real. These rewards are pretty dang nice. And I will absolutely take them. We get more fates. I really hope this Mora is a lot, guys, because I need the Mora. I really need Mora, so I'm hoping it's good. So at level 4 is when you unlock the warming bottle, and the warming bottle is going to make sure that you don't die from the sheer cold. So getting to level 4 quite early is going to be quite important, as long as you have the equivalent of white iron in Dragonspine, which I believe is called Star Silver. We are going to be getting more summons, which is nice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 summons in total, and only 1 intertwined fate. So I guess that's hello to some more blue weapons, but you know, it is what it is. We're going to be getting a new prototype for the spear and polearm, guys. I'm going to say it right now, we are going to be getting a new patch 1.2 weapon, which hasn't been announced in this document or in this web page. So please don't instinctively just use this to refine one of your currently existing prototype weapons, because you do want to have at least one of the new spear. I think the new spear is going to be pretty dang good, or the new polearm rather is going to be pretty dang good. We're also going to be getting a catalyst, a new catalyst. However, you do need prototype catalyst readily available for this, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be the best DPS free-to-play weapon for your catalyst users. So make sure you save your prototype catalyst and don't waste them into the Mappa Mare or the other one, which gives you HP. So I don't think either of those two are really that great. We're going to get Crown of Insight as well, which is great. And then we're also going to be getting a new cool looking glider, a very wintry theme. So warming bottle, what exactly does it do? Once the frost bearing tree has reached level 4, travelers will be awarded a blueprint to craft the warming bottle. Using flaming flower statements, so we finally have a use for these things, and star silver to craft a warming bottle. The warming bottle will enter a 120-second cooldown. Upon use, the bottle will emit warmth and reduce the accumulation of sheer cold in a small radius for a short duration. So as you can see, it completely reduces the sheer cold debuff on you, which is going to be very helpful and allow you to traverse and basically get across Dragonspine a little bit easier before you find those extra checkpoints of heat, whether they're torches, a cooking area, a Sealy, whatever warms you up. This is going to be a nice little thing that keeps you in basically alive. It keeps you alive. We're going to get a name card, which is whatever. We got Catalyst, Frostbearer here. As you can see, 9% attack as a base and 42. So this is going to be the best DPS one for your Monas, for your Clees, if you have, for example, Catalyst, only free-to-play Catalyst lying around. Frost Burial. Hitting an enemy with normal and charge attacks has a 60% chance of forming and dropping an Everfrost Icicle above them, dealing 80% AoE attack damage. Enemies affected by Cryo are dealt 200% attack damage, can only occur once every 10 seconds. And obviously when you refine this, this is going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. It also looks very cool as well. The other catalysts, I believe, give Elemental Mastery and also HP percent substat, which is not too great. I mean, on Klee, it's not bad, Elemental Mastery, but I don't really recommend going for either of those catalysts that are currently available. And there we have a preview of the new wings, which I think look really nice. I think it's going to look really nice on Kea. Not that I run Kea. Right, as you guys saw, the rewards are very good. However, after level 8, I think it's going to be capped at level 8, guys. So when I say that, what happens is the amount of Anemoculus or Geoculus, or in this instant Crimson Agates, that you can find in Dragonspine is limited. And once you reach level 8, at level 8, every single Monday and Friday, there is going to be a quest so that you can find and harvest more of these Crimson Agates to feed into the tree. So I think level 8 is where we can max cap out for the random ones that we can find across Dragonspine. And once we fed all of those into the tree, then we have to rely solely on the quests to max out the tree. And if that's the case, then no one is going to be able to max out the tree on day 1. And I think this will probably take maybe 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks to finish. And I think that's okay. I think it's better that the game has paced the pacing of the game, if that makes sense. It slows down people from power leveling all the way to the final level on the first day. So I think that is it's an okay thing. I'm happy to accept that, because it means I have something more to do during the week as well for Mondays and Fridays. So new domain, Peak of Vindagnir. I've definitely mispronounced that, but upon completing the quest in the mountains, travelers will unlock an all-new domain at Dragonspine Summit known as the Peak of Vindagnir, and you will get the Blizzard Strain and Heart of Depth set artifacts here, which are going to be the Hydro and Cryo DPS sets. And in this domain, this is the interesting part here, in this domain, characters will continuously accumulate sheer cold, and while platforms in the challenge will intermittently switch between the sub-zero and warm statuses. So you need to be standing on a platform in this domain which is warm. So I'm not sure how this is going to work, honestly, and I don't know, I really don't know, like, I don't understand what this screenshot is. Like, what is this telling me right now? So this is going to be very, very interesting. It seems like a very big chonky boy domain, so we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. I'm very excited for it, and that is basically everything, other than we have a small mini event as well. The Chalk Prince and the Dragon, the Sword Festering Desire. We get this sword for free. It's a very good sword, guys. It increases elemental skill crit rate and elemental skill damage, and I think a lot of people will be wanting to Refinement 5 this sword. I think during the event, we will actually be able to Refinement 5 this weapon, which is really, really huge for the free-to-play players, even for pay-to-win players that don't like spending on weapons banners. This is a really good sword to have, and is basically useful for everyone. I cannot wait to put this on my Traveler, because my Traveler at the moment is a support geo damage user, and having an elemental skill damage bonus is going to be really, really huge. And it also means I can use my Black Sword, the Battle Pass sword, on another character, for example, like Kaching instead. The event shop, you don't need any original resin to participate in this event, guys. It's going to be like the first phase of the meteorite event, when the meteorites came down and we had to look for the little shards. It didn't cost anything, and then we could use those shards to buy stuff from the shop as well. So as you can see from the shop, there is going to be a Crown of Insight as well. So this is going to be interesting. We'll just have to wait and see how all of this really works out. But this, you don't need original resin for this part of the event. So look forward to the sword. We're getting a whole bunch of new free-to-play weapons, and Albedo is looking like a very interesting support character for me. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, guys, in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the video was helpful, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.